lights. Fire! Welcome to episode 114. Isn't that crazy? Happy Thanksgiving! Yay. By the time... No, when you hear this, it won't be Thanksgiving yet. No. But we're on our way to Thanksgiving. Countdown to Thanksgiving. And what am I drinking? Well, I had got so many things backstage in Minnesota, I need to wait till next week to sort it all out because some of it's being sent back too. So I don't want to get into all that, but I am drinking on my Paul Bunyan glass in honor of Minnesota. And it's a spotted cow, which I got a ton of those, which was muled over from Wisconsin. Delicious. In case you don't know, spotted cow is the greatest beer in the whole world. And you're not supposed to take it outside of Wisconsin. And some termites muled it over to Minnesota for me. Yes. First of all, and I'm having a little wine.
Whoa.
Since it's a nighttime episode. You're mixing it up. Plus the beer. I got the beer and the wine. That's my chaser. Yeah, it's dark out. It's only 4:44.
Spotted cow chaser.
It is a spotted cow chaser. That I know. That's a heavy chaser too. Anyway, Minnesota. Well, what am I going to taste here? This was just bought at the grocery store, and it's just called bacon horseradish dip. Well, it's called hell of good dip. Hell of good dip. Hell of a good dip. Yeah. Hell of a good dip. Nice. I've never really thought about bacon or horseradish. It's probably great. Because I like them both. Yeah. Total winner. Really? Yeah. Great. Oh, wait. At the end. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, it's a lot of horseradish at the end. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd rather just have onion dip.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't recommend that. And then look, they have Bugles that are ranch.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not a Bugle. I know it's very loud. Sorry, termites. Is that bothering anybody? Is that bothering anybody? I'm never a Bugle person, but...
No. Come on.
No.
No?
No. Hidden Valley makes these too.
Oh.
No. It tastes like chemicals. Sometimes when they try to flavor stuff, it just comes out tasting like dust. Chemical dust.
All Bugles taste like dust.
All Bugles do?
I think so.
That's probably why I don't eat Bugles.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Minnesota, though.
Okay.
A wonderful 6 degrees outside. So pretty. Those Minnesotans, though, they don't care. They all just came piling into that casino. Mm-hmm. And I went up early to this casino called Treasure Island. It's about an hour outside of Minneapolis. Cool. And once you get outside of the Minneapolis airport, which could take up to 8 hours, it's a very, very expansive airport. Mm-hmm. And my good friend Kelly McFarland was opening the show for the weekend. So then we got in a car and we went to Treasure Island and went early to go see who? My friend Tater Salad, nice. Mr. Ronald D. White. Mm-hmm. He was headlining Friday night, and I would say there's probably only maybe 3 to 5 comedians where I would sit in the crowd and watch their whole show. Uh-huh. Because I just drift out too much, and I don't want to sit. I can't sit like that and focus. But I can sit for his, yeah. And it's the last time I'll probably ever see him because he's retiring. Oh. That's right. Any Ron White fans? That's it. New Year's Eve, kapooey. He's out of here.
Was it good?
It was very good, and he closes with Tater Salad, that famous joke. And there's not many comedians that can start a joke, and then the audience keeps the joke going, like a song. Right. Like he goes, "I was not drunk in public," and then they all go, "I was thrown in public." They know that it's like weird, like music. That happens with music, but not so much with comedy. And then I gambled a little. I played some video poker. Nice. And then Saturday night, my good friend Louie Anderson, who passed away last January, his sister Lisa came. Cool. She looks exactly like him. You should go to my Instagram and look at the picture of me and Lisa. I mean, it's like Louie in baskets, except it's Lisa and she's there. So I did a little tribute to Louie at the end and told some stories and gave her a shout out. So that was all very nice. Because Minnesota, some states have a lot of comedians that come out. Others, not so many. Right. Minnesota, every single person is weirder than the next, but I liked them all. I like Nick Swartzen, Maria Bamford,
Oh, I didn't know about her.
Mitch Hedberg. I mean, they are definitely one of the women backstage goes, "It's probably because our minds are frozen." And I said, "Well, I don't know what the reason is that you're very peculiar people, but batting 1,000 sending comedians out in the world. Minnesota's doing a very good job."
Nice.
Yeah, compared to some other states where you just don't see that many. I don't know, Minneapolis, but that's also because they have a very good club in Minneapolis where you would start comedy at Acme Comedy Club that I used to work years ago. Anyway, that's enough comedy talk. Folks, I don't have any Queen news.
Did you get walleye?
I did get walleye at the restaurant. I ate with Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his little buddies. It's called the Tado Steakhouse, and they had fresh walleye. It was delicious. It's one of the main reasons you need to get to Minneapolis. I don't have any Queen news, but my friend Cindy in Cleveland went to see Shaka in Cleveland and said she was fantastic.
Cool.
I didn't even know Shaka was going to be there. Dolly is wearing, in honor of paddles, the Canadian World Cup hat. I'm wearing the American World Cup hat. We will talk about that in a minute. I watched the game today, 1-1. Cool. Wales tied us. And I don't have... Stevie's adding more dates with Billy Joel. I just want to vomit. Don't do it! No. Like, I don't know. My sister goes, well, you wouldn't go see Billy Joel? I said, if Little Dwarf, my friend, handed me tickets and I happened to be standing right outside of the venue, yes, I would go in.
Right.
But would I pay? Like, I liked his early stuff, but then I kept hearing it in the casino this weekend. She's an uptown girl. Right. Yeah, and then there's like 4 more that No. And I know Stevie's going to have to cut her set short because she's splitting the gig with him. They both can't do an hour and a half.
Right.
Oh, I guess it could, but I don't think they would. I don't know, maybe they would. Anyway, don't like... Those tickets are available. I've been checking the arenas, and Stevie and Billy are not causing nearly the amount of havoc your little Tay-Tay, your Queen Tay-Tay caused. We're going to be talking about that because, wow, what a shit show. Uh-huh. And I have a tough time speaking completely freely on this matter because Ticketmaster does work hand in hand with me a lot.
Kathleen, Madigan.
And Live Nation, too. And I love my guys. I mean, I don't think, though, that, like... So let's say I do Dallas, the Majestic Theater, like, and it could be a Live Nation thing, or San Antonio. I don't know that my guys are the same people that Tay-Tay. I really sincerely doubt it. Maybe. I don't know if they all work different size venues. Obviously, mine are not. Mine are like 2,000 seats, maybe 2,500. Tay-Tays are 7 million. So I don't know how all that really works, but I will tell you about my little experience with that too. But first, let's talk about the World Cup.
Yep.
Before I even go into an update, only because the World Cup is happening right now, I think FIFA is worse. No, equally as horrible as the IOC, International Olympic Committee. Whores, sellouts, terrible, terrible, terrible. Because if you're playing in this World Cup, or even if you decided to go, I'm sure as a Midwest person, I'm not saying it right. First, I was saying Qatar, and then I heard Qatar.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm going with Qatar.
I like
It's a Q.
Yeah.
Q as in Queen.
Qatar.
Qatar. Budweiser spent $75 million to be a sponsor, and then they said we're not selling beer at any of the venues. It's the World Cup soccer.
Right.
What? No, I want a beer. And it's hot out there now. It's like 90 degrees. So everybody's sitting out there sweating their asses off. I don't know why you give it to these countries that pull this bullshit, and then you act like those poor people that had to go to the Russian Olympics, and then they were showing when he had him in, where was it in Russia? The last one. Yeah, Sochi. What a dump. And you're in these dorms. You probably going to go to the Olympics once. The World Cup, I mean, as a participant. World Cup, maybe 2 or 3 in your whole life if you're David Beckham or something. But there were so many Welsh fans because I watched the Wales-United States game. I don't know. The World Cup's supposed to be a party in a box. And here's how much this is not a party in the box. This is an article. Here's some things from the World Cup that you're restricted to do. First of all, the first thing was beer. And if I'm Budweiser, But here's the problem. You entered into a deal with the people, the government of Qatar. You think you're getting your $75 million back?
No.
Good luck. How do you think you're going to get that back? They took the money and now they're not selling beer. You can get it, though, if you're in the exclusive corporate box.
Right.
What kind of bullshit is that? The whole country, there's just too many...
Billionaires?
Yeah. For a sign of how dramatic the shift in Qatar is, consider that FIFA successfully pressured Brazil to change its federal laws to allow alcohol sales in its stadiums before it hosted the World Cup in 2014, overturning a ban that had been enacted because of violence. I get that. It's like hockey games sometimes say we're not selling beer after the second period,
Right.
but this is just not at all. So Budweiser makes the deal with them, and then at the very last minute, they go, yeah, we're not doing that. You could get it at tents outside somewhere, but that even those, I've seen them, they're not really enough. Regular fans won't have access to alcohol at matches. Only spectators in high stadiums, high-end luxury suites will have access to booze. Outside of the stadiums, fans can still drink at special World Cup gathering spaces or specially licensed restaurants, bars. In general, the public consumption of alcohol is illegal in Qatar.
It is.
Yes, an offense that can bring 6 months in prison and a fine of more than $800. This is how stubborn my Irish can be.
Oh, no.
If they put me in jail for 6 months for drinking a beer, all I would do for 6 months is look at my jail person and go, as soon as I get out, I'm drinking another one. Go ahead, let me out. I'll do it again. Like, so childish, so stubborn. But that's what I would be thinking. You know what's going to make me want a beer? Being in this shithole for 6 months. As soon as you let me out, I'm going to drink more.
84 more days.
Anyone smuggling alcohol into the country can face up to 3 years in prison.
Wow.
Now, how many of these little Scots and Englishmen and little
The Welsh plane.
little
And the Brazilians.
Welshmen? Oh my God! There was a video of a plane of Brazilians going over there, and there was one guy that was not into it.
Right.
He wasn't being mean, but he was like on a plane with Brazilian soccer fans. He was Brazilian, but he's like soccer fans, and they were just like singing, and it was insanity. And I thought, ooh boy, that's what earbuds are for, sir. Where's your earbuds?
Earbuds in the sleep mask.
Islam is the official religion. Anyone found to be proselytizing for other religions or criticizing Islam may be criminally prosecuted. It's not safe to assume you can practice your faith openly. It allows some non-Muslim religious practices in designated areas like the Doha's religious complex, but all faiths are not accommodated equally. I mean, yeah, you cannot bring pork products in.
Right.
Well, it's a good thing I like beef jerky.
Right.
How about beef?
Right.
I mean, listen to all this bullshit.
That's a cow noise you're making?
Moo. Yeah.
It's a sick cow.
Speech that's deemed critical of the Qatari government could trigger an arrest. Those lies apply to both spoken word and social media. And while past World Cups have brought a heaping of argy-bargy, I don't know what that is, scenes of rival crowds yelling or even singing obscenities at one another, open conflicts can be big problems in Qatar. For example, arguing with or insulting others in public could lead to arrest.
Wow.
I mean, what? This isn't fun.
No.
Especially in soccer. You're supposed to be able to yell.
And wear makeup.
Homosexuality is criminalized in Qatar. Some guy went in with a rainbow shirt on today. He tried to get in. T-shirt with a rainbow on it. Boing, kicked him out. Now, how do you know the man doesn't just like rainbows?
Right.
I mean, yeah, it could be
Big
associated with gay, but it could also, maybe he just likes Judy Garland.
Right.
That doesn't make him gay.
No.
Not necessarily. And yeah, he got kicked out. I think you're crazy though to wear it. Like, I wouldn't challenge these people.
No.
I think we've seen enough with the Brittany Griner case. Let's not push the envelope in foreign countries with very strict laws. Let's just either not go, my vote, or go and behave. What else can't you do? Well, you can't be gay. 6 months imprisonment for anyone found to have committed immoral actions or gestures in public, and up to 7 years in prison for having sex outside of marriage. Public debauchery. Ron White would be in a lot of problems in this category.
Yeah.
Can also carry a sentence up to 3 years.
Just for debauchery.
Debauchery. Define that. Right. If a pregnant fan goes to Qatar for the World Cup, they should be prepared to show a marriage certificate if they need prenatal care there.
Huh. Wow. Prenatal care.
Their oppressive heat forced the tournament to move from the summer to November and December, but fans who find it hot there should limit on how much skin they show. Dress codes in many public areas require both men and women cover your shoulders, chest, stomach, and knees, and tight leggings be covered by a long shirt or dress. As with alcohol, clothing standards can shift according to the neighborhood or venue that caters to foreigners. I mean, it just doesn't sound fun. Nope. And you know what? Really, screw FIFA for picking them. Whores. You're just whores.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be here. If you can't drink a beer and watch soccer, that's tradition.
Right.
Now I sound like an alcoholic. But I also don't want to get arrested. You know, what's debauchery? Like, that's just not a fun atmosphere.
No.
Anyway, we'll still go ahead and watch. But there's a lot of empty seats. In the game before the American game, whatever one that was, I'd say half the stadium was empty because you said you read something where their tickets weren't coming up on their phones when they tried to get in. Their tickets weren't downloading.
The FIFA app went down.
The FIFA app went down. Jesus. I don't know how people end up. It's like the Olympic kidding me. How do these people get? There's some FIFA thing on Netflix I want to watch. I haven't watched it yet because I was busy watching The Crown. We'll talk about that when I get to what we watched about. But first, we have an update. Just in case anybody besides me cares. And I don't think anyone does, but I'm doing it anyway. Okay. I'm really interested in what's going to happen to Boris Becker. Jailed former tenor says Boris Becker he will be deported to Germany in time for Christmas. He's been approved for a fast-track scheme under which foreign cons are sent to their home countries to ease the pressure on British prisons. Wow. I know. The ex-Wimbledon champ, 54 years old, was sentenced to 2.5 years in April for hiding $2.5 million in assets while bankrupt, but sources say he will walk free next month. One prison source says he signed up to a scheme that means the disgraced star has spent 7 months in some Hunter Combe prison. He's been accepted onto the early release scheme. They keep saying scheme like it's not legal, which allows any foreign national serving a fixed sentence who's liable for removal from the UK to be removed from prison and deported up to 12 months before the earliest release point of their sentence. Offenders benefit by cutting up to 13 days from their sentence if they agree to go home. Wow. Seems like a lot more than that. Yeah. His former spokesman said, "We're very pleased for Boris that he may qualify for an early release, maybe able to travel to Germany, albeit England has been his home for many, many, many years. So his home ain't even in Germany anymore." It would sure mean a lot to him to be united with his family for Christmas. Look, if I can get out of prison, I'll go to any country.
Right.
So will anybody else.
Except Qatar.
Except Qatar, right. Because what's the fun of getting out of prison if I can't have a beer? I'll just have a beer and get sent right back to prison. That's all I would say. And then what is wrong with me? Like, I am old enough to know better, but that's what I would say to the guard. As soon as you let me out, I'm drinking again. Just to say fuck you. Speaking of which, update 2. I didn't even have to print it out. Elizabeth.
No!
11 years.
So great.
Elizabeth Holmes.
Not long enough.
Theranos, because I was talking to my dad, and he's like, "Who's she?" I'm like, "Dad, the blood thing." And then my mom said it like a Greek person. She goes, "Theranos." I'm like, "What? Well, who are you? Who are you, Theranos?" I go, "Theranos, the blood deal." And then they were like, "Oh, right. She got 11.5 years. They're going to appeal it. She didn't have to go to the popo right away." No. That's what I wanted to know. Are they taking her away today? No. They're going to let her have her baby. Thank God. Yeah, well, they would never do that to people without money. No. You know how many women have babies in prison? Shit tons, because I watch that prison show sometimes. Yeah, they're going to let her April, and then she'll appeal all this bullshit. But April 23rd, I believe, 11.5 years, I say she'll serve 8. And she's only 38.
Yeah.
So that she'll be 46 when you're out.
Yeah.
That's not old.
No.
Plenty of time to start a new con. Plenty of time to think of some other bullshit to sell people that ain't a thing. I couldn't find any videos. I think they had a pretty locked down courtroom though. Yeah, but usually California is the most liberal with all that. Hello, look at the OJ trial. That's what made my dad so mad, because my dad was a judge for a while, too. And he's like, I shouldn't film any of this shit. This Edo person wants to be a star. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay.
He's right.
Well, people do act differently when cameras are on, but it's been a long journey, termites, with Elizabeth Holmes. And everybody send me all the stuff. Thank you. I get all that on Twitter and Instagram. And she was crying. But even her speech... Fake crying. Even her speech was, I'm sorry I failed. It was all me. Not a word about,
She's a sociopath.
I tried to make the world a better place, and I'm like, oh my God, she still doesn't get it. No. And then the judge said it's a shame because you're a brilliant woman. What define brilliant?
No.
Do you mean a brilliant manipulator or a liar?
Yes.
Because I don't really know. She quit Stanford. How am I supposed to know you're smart? You didn't even finish.
Maybe it was too
I finished 4 years, albeit it was, not Stanford. Right. I didn't get in there. It was University of Missouri in Southern Illinois, which, by the way, when I have time to go through stuff, I have so much stuff. My alma mater sent me some really cool SIUE stuff,
Nice.
which SIUE is not the one. Everybody goes, oh, were you a Saluki? I'm like, no, that was the cooler school.
Nobody knows what a Saluki is.
Yes, people in the Midwest. People in the Midwest know what a Saluki is.
What's a Saluki?
It's some form of dog.
A Saluki?
Yeah, Google it. It's like a husky.
Oh my God. That
Yeah.
sounds totally made up.
Well, even weirder is the St. Louis Billikens. What's a Billiken? It's a monster. It's a little monster.
Saluki. Wow, they're ugly dogs.
They're ugly dogs, but I wasn't a Saluki.
What is that?
It might be made up.
Yeah.
Is it fictional?
That's stupid. No.
Oh.
Saluki.
Saluki. Southern Illinois Carbondale. That was the funner school. I didn't go to that one, and that's why I'm saying funner, because I didn't go to the better one. I went to the one I could drive to. Update! We're moving on.
Okay.
We're moving on. Banksy! Kind of obsessed with Banksy.
I wouldn't be too.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else about the Elizabeth Holmes thing. She gets to have the baby outside. So, it's November, December, January, February, March. She still has 4 more months of freedom. I don't trust her.
No.
I don't trust her not to leave.
She won't show up.
I don't know. I don't, they wouldn't do it to poor people.
Did they take her passport?
I don't know if they took her passport.
Important.
I don't know. Banksy. Okay, so we talked about it, that his things have been popping up throughout Ukraine. Somebody caught, now you're kind of right, because I said, somebody caught a man on camera painting a thing, and it's probably Banksy. They shouldn't do it. I agree with you. Even though I really want to see what he looks like, he clearly doesn't want to be seen.
No.
So I think people should
I totally understand that.
honor that. Yeah, I know you don't want to ever be seen, Paddles. You will never be seen.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I could totally snap a picture of you right now and put it up there. Go, this is the elusive.
Podcast would end today.
Some people don't like attention or that kind of fame. CCT footage appears to show an anonymous street orders Banksy painting one of the artworks he created in war-torn Ukrainian towns. The works features people doing daily tasks against war-torn buildings in Homostel, Horinka, and Borodinka. And there's a guy, I don't know. He's doing them all over Ukraine, and they're flipping awesome.
That's awesome.
Uh-huh. It was uploaded by Ukrainian TikTok user so-and-so.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's putting the final touches on it. I'm sure it's him. You can't really see, though. It's very grainy, so he's still retained. Then he told everybody in London to go shoplift from the Guess store. He tells shoplifters to steal from guests, saying the company helped themselves to my artwork, so go help yourselves to their clothes.
Wow.
Yeah. The anonymous and unconventional graffiti artist Banksy posted an unusual request on Friday, asking any potential shoplifters among his fan base to visit the Regent Street Guest store in London and help themselves. Could we just talk about the fact I don't even know where you'd get a pair of Guess jeans right now.
No idea.
Is that still going on? Guess?
Maybe in Ukraine.
No, in London.
I don't know.
Do we have any British termites? Any termites living in London? Is Guess still a thing? I don't even see it like a TJ Maxx or places where it would be last call. Marshalls? Nope. He wrote the pro shoplifting message on Instagram in response to some of the iconic designs being used in a Guess clothing collection.
Dillard's and Macy's.
Dillard's and Macy's?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The collection features t-shirts and jackets imprinted with Banksy's Thug for Life bunny displayed in front of a blown-up backdrop which featured the artist's famous image of a looter throwing a bouquet of flowers. On Instagram, he wrote, "Attention all shoplifters. Please go to Guess on Regent Street. They've helped themselves to my artwork without asking, so how can it be wrong for you to do the same with their clothes?"
Wow.
It's unclear how serious Banksy's post really was or if the artist was personally consulted about the clothing line before it went into production, but the offending Guess collection is in partnership with the company Brandalize, which reportedly has a license to commercialize and use Banksy's artwork on goods. Well, he should look at that beforehand.
Yeah. Or have a manager do it.
Well, yeah, not him. He's got to have an agent or a manager. Make these people work for a living, for Christ's sake. They said it looks like he might have had a genuine outburst of annoyance on social media, but maybe somebody licensed it.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't think they'd be dumb enough not to.
I would think that'd be quite a leap to do that without permission. To just go, yeah, we're just gonna put this shit all over our clothes. I mean, maybe the guy working for him forgot to tell him, "Hey, buddy, I licensed some of this stuff. Don't go ape shit on social media." Too late now, huh? That's all my updates.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't a big update week.
Good.
Well, since we talked about Taylor as a potential queen,
People like it.
I know people love Tay.
Yeah.
I like the song about the lady from St. Louis. Let's talk about we'll call it it's a baby update.
Okay.
It's not a full update.
For baby queen.
She's not a queen in this house yet. These
in
are the
my
queens.
house.
Well, in your house, but this is not your house. So
I have squatter
I'm
rights.
considering it.
Squatter rights.
I'm gonna let Baby Cat choose.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Baby Cat had to go outside. She was so talkative. She's up here going, meow, meow, meow. I'm like, hey, I got shit to do, Baby Cat. The Tay situation. This is where I turn into an old person. Remember when they used to just say tickets were gonna go on sale and you just went to the venue and camped out? Why can't we do that anymore?
It was great.
That's for people who really cared.
It was fun.
It was fun, too. I used to do it for Cardinal games. Like, when we got into the playoffs and World Series and stuff, we would camp out. But I was in college, and then we would have, like, 3 campsites. Campsite 1 and 2 would go drinking. Campsite 3 would guard 1 and 2. And then we'd switch out, and then you'd pass out and sleep for a few hours, and then switch again. It was a great time. And it was usually fall, so the weather's fine. No, we had tents and shit, and they let us do it. But this whole system, Ticketmaster saying, because here's the thing. If you weren't a member of the Tay Tay fan club, you're not even getting in on the pre-sale.
No.
This is a good opportunity to explain to termites, too. When I have a pre-sale, for instance, like people always go, well, what is that, a special club? No, I don't even require you to be in any fan club or nothing. No. It's just, this is the day. X amount of tickets are going to go on sale that are super good seats.
Yep.
They're probably going to be more expensive than the cheaper seats. And you just put this code in, whatever, like mine was ranch or wine or whatever. And then you can just buy them that day if you're, really into it. And if you are, want to do it it's usually on Wednesday, and then Friday is all the tickets are on sale.
Right.
But if you want the better seats, you go. My pre-sale, because I don't have any hit songs. Mine are not, no requirement. Like for Florence and the Machine one time, I had to join the fan club and buy a CD.
What?
Yeah, wasn't that long ago. 5 years ago, maybe? Buy a CD. I don't even fucking want a CD.
Worth it.
Well, it was worth it because I really like Florence.
Yeah.
And I would buy the CD. But the actual, it was still a CD. Wasn't it a download card? Whatever. I don't require any of that,
No.
but I am not Tay-Tay. Tay-Tay says you got to be a member of the fan club, so they thought that X amount of people would go in, and then the whole thing broke. I know one person.
Blew up.
It blew up. She broke the internet. She did it again.
It was awesome.
And now she's really upset. And then I read a thing. Then Ticketmaster said, well, we didn't know the ticket thing was going to be this high. And Tay-Tay's issued a bunch of statements going, they assured me 2 or 3 times, because you got to give her credit. Like Nashville, she's doing 3 shows.
Yeah.
So as much as I think Garth Brooks can be cheesy, he does 1 million shows and then everybody can go. It takes away the demand. And Tay-Tay is trying to do that a little bit. 3 shows in one town's a lot. And like Pittsburgh too. I looked at the whole schedule. But she broke the internet. But if the internet isn't prepared, then you can't sell tickets like that. No. I know one person, my friend Lucy.
Yep.
She got 2 tickets and she's not even sure how. She had her husband doing it at the same time. And then I tried for the kids. I was 2,000th. I can't even say that.
2,000.
It said you are number 2,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, guess how much I like my nieces? A ton. Guess how much? Long enough to sit here for that? Nope. Close the computer. I'm not sitting here for 2,000 fucking people.
No.
This is crazy. And then immediately they're on StubHub.
Yeah.
So what is that saying? Who bought those? That's not true Tay-Tay fans.
No.
That's bullshit.
Yep.
That's bots or something, because if you did get your Tay-Tay tickets, you're not putting them on StubHub. No. I don't believe that. Not unless you were dramatically ill or something.
You know who did? Elizabeth Holmes.
Elizabeth Holmes did what?
Put them all on stuff.
Well, she probably had to put hers on StubHub because depending on what date, she might be in a pokey. She won't be able to attend. I think I have an article about it somewhere here. Yeah. She said it was excruciating for herself. And I actually believe Taylor Swift does give a shit.
Yeah, I do too.
I liked that show. I saw about her on Netflix or whatever.
Why she deserves to be a queen.
I know. And then it goes without saying, I'm extremely protective of my fans. She wrote on Instagram, it's really difficult for me to trust an outside entity with these relationships and loyalties, and it is excruciating for me to watch mistakes happen with no recourse.
Boom!
They said to meet demand, she would have to do 900 shows.
Yeah.
3 years, every night.
Nice.
She blamed Ticketmaster for the snafu. Oh, this was more than a snafu. Who chose that word? Noting that there was a multitude of reasons why people had such a hard time getting tickets. I'm not going to make excuses for anyone because we asked them multiple times if they could handle this kind of demand, and we were assured they could, the stinger wrote. It's truly amazing that 2.4 million people got tickets, but it really pisses me off that a lot of them feel like they went through several bear attacks to get them. Well, most people, you don't even know, Taylor, how many people just quit.
Right.
I quit.
The children don't quit.
Well, I wasn't doing it for me. Right, I'm doing it for the children. I even tried to call in the big guns in Los Angeles. I don't ever ask for favors, for work favors, but I was like, and they were like, nope. How about George Strait? What?
No.
Do you want tickets to Billy? No. I don't want to go see Billy. She's going to try to figure out how this situation can be improved on moving forward. This is the thing, you're Tay-Tay. You have the opportunity to create something awesome as far as ticket buying goes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm not a business person. On Thursday, Ticketmaster announced the sale to the general public, which was scheduled by Friday. They're all the pre-sale. All the tickets were gone. They had no tickets to sell on Friday.
Yeah.
It's like the worst bake sale ever. They had been canceled due to extraordinary high demands on ticketing systems and insufficient remaining ticket inventory to meet that demand. To those who didn't get tickets, all I can say is that my hope is to provide more opportunities for us to get together and sing these songs, Swift added.
It's going to take her a couple years.
Mm-hmm. A verified fan platform was created in 2017 to help Ticketmaster handle situations of enormous demand. Well, it didn't work. No. But you know what? They'll get away with it.
Yeah.
For regular shows, they do fine. My shows, they do fine. They do a good job. But when it's shit like this, it's going to go bananas. And there's no rhyme or reason. And think of all those kids. Like, I just shut the computer and walked away. I'm like, I don't really give a shit. Like, I thought I'd give it a whirl, but it's not my thing. But for those kids that did get up and sat there to be 2,000, because that has happened to me where I've kept it on. Florence and the Machine did happen. And then the thing came on, they go, there's no tickets left. You didn't even get a chance. No. It just, I don't know. They gotta figure out something for the super. That shit does not happen with my stuff, but oh wait, there's another update in here. What did I miss? Well, oh no, okay. Holy shit, they found it. And we're moving on. This is a great. Holy shit, they found it. Homeowners found $137 million Caravaggio oil painting in their attic, depicting Judith beheading Holofernes.
What did you just say?
Well, this is the problem with being Catholics here, Paddles. Mm-hmm. We don't even know what any of that means. No. It's something from the Bible. Okay. This 400-year-old painting had been in the attic for at least 150 years. Wait till you hear this shit. Okay. Imagine, if you will, yourself finding a painting in your attic valued at well over $100 million. Sobering, isn't it? What is also sobering is the chilling image in the painting of a young woman with one hand pulling a screaming man's hair and the other gripping a huge sword, slicing through his neck while she takes off his head.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We'll put the painting in the schnauze.
Okay.
I don't want this painting in my house.
No.
Look at the detail in this extraordinary work of art. Look at the cold look on Judith's face, the aging skin of the old woman, the anguish face of Holofernes, whoever that guy is, and the use of color shading, lighting, contrast, and realism down to the curtains. Now imagine finding this in your house and thinking, this has got to be worth a fortune. The painting is the second version of the artist's painting of Judith beheading Holofernes, and then there's the dimensions, all that. It's the creative work of Italian painter Michelangelo Merisici de Caravaggio, so it's not the Michelangelo, there's another Michelangelo. Born in 1571 in Milan during the Spanish Empire, most of his artistic life was spent in Rome during the Baroque cultural movement era. He died at 38. There's a picture of him. He looks sad and sick. And like he didn't have a comb ever. Nobody ever gave the guy a comb. The backstory of Judith beheading Holofernes supposedly originates from biblical accounts. Again, why we would have no knowledge of that.
This is where we learn.
Right. However, the book of Judith was excluded from the Hebrew Bible. Yeah, I don't know any book of Judith.
No.
Or Judy Gold and Judy Tenuta would have used it.
Right.
As a joke of some sort, and therefore does not appear in the King James Bible, as it is not sanctioned by Protestant denomination. It is, however, included in the Septuagint, Catholic, and Eastern Orthodox Christian Old Testament Bibles.
Huh.
I don't know.
I don't know any of that.
I'll take their word for it.
Okay, me too.
It was a house in Toulouse, in the southwest of France. Toulouse. Mm-hmm. It had housed the painting for a century and a half. It was found by its new home. Get a load of this. Brand new homeowners. They went up into the attic to find out where water was leaking into the house through the roof. When they went up to the attic, they found a locked door, which they forced open because they didn't have a key to it. Once inside, they found the dust-covered painting in amazingly good condition. Here you can see a picture of the attic, we'll put it in the show notes, where this valuable masterpiece was found. The new homeowners called experts to their home to appraise the large canvas, which was valued to be approximately worth $170 million. $137 million. Imagine that? One of the experts said the painting was recognizable as a Caravaggio because the energy and light and typical of Caravaggio paintings, and that it had no mistakes, showing it was done with a sure hand and a pictorial style, which speaks to its authenticity. Wow. I don't know what they're going to do with the money. It is curious, though, that a painting that appraised at $137 million was left sitting in a house for somebody to break in and take it. It would seem they would have had to have it in a more secure place. Nonetheless, this piece of art history has seen a lot in its 400 years, and those homeowners, as well as the art world, are richer for this discovery.
Wow.
Yep. All I've ever found is, like, I found a raccoon skeleton once. mouse droppings.
Gross.
What do you think's going to be in an attic? Old Christmas lights that don't work.
Right.
Never found anything like that.
No.
This is a holy shit. They found it. This is exciting.
Okay.
Scientists rediscover lost bird that hadn't been seen in 140 years.
What?
It's, quote, like finding a unicorn. And wait till you see it.
Not as cool as a unicorn.
No, it's not as cool as a unicorn.
Not as cool.
Scientists have rediscovered the black-naped pheasant pigeon. It's awesome looking.
Okay.
A rare bird that was last sighted 140 years ago in Papua New Guinea.
Black-naped pheasant.
Pheasant, pigeon. Pheasant, pigeon. Both.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Looks more like a pheasant. It's orange and black.
Okay.
The discovery was made in Ferguson Island off the east coast of Papua New Guinea in September. Researchers' cameras caught it was first described in 1882. To find something that's been gone that long, you're thinking it's almost extinct, and then to figure out that it's not extinct, it feels like finding a unicorn or Bigfoot. It's extraordinarily unusual. The research team is part of the Search for the Lost Birds, a collaboration between BirdLife International and Bird Conservancy, which financed the trip.
Huh.
Well, here's another thing I didn't know was a job.
To be a bird conservator?
A bird conservator, or my whole life is going to be devoted to looking for birds we haven't seen
Right.
in a hot minute.
Right.
That'd be fun.
Okay.
The black-naped pheasant pigeon is the size of a chicken, and among 20, quote, lost birds have not been sighted for over a century. It's one of the 4 pheasant pigeon species found around New Guinea and lives only on Ferguson Island. They tried to locate it in 2019, but they failed. The last expedition was unsuccessful. This year, the team found success in the villages on the western slope of Mount Killicaran, the island's highest peak. Yep, it was the final hours of the search. So exciting. Yeah, go look at a picture of it.
Oh, yeah.
See? People say this shit doesn't exist anymore, and then boom, there's one just wandering around, shaking its little peasant tail.
Chicken tail.
We're moving on. Oh, what are we watching? We gotta talk about just for a minute. So I watched the Jerry Falwell movie on Hulu about the pool boy.
Yep.
It was fabulous. Giancarlo,
I liked him.
he was so cute, and he's so honest. And his sister, it reminded me if Patrick would have done something like this, where I'm like, what? Like, she's supportive and non-judgmental, but at the same time, she's like, dude, what did you do? I mean, and I know people could say all the things the Catholics have done, and there are many, many, many things we could talk about that are all not good. We have done our share. But the level of hypocrisy, because somebody wrote to me, it seems like you have something against evangelicals. Not in particular, not the ones that are really doing what they do. It's the ones that aren't doing what they do, because they have more hypocrisy built in, because they tell you can't. The Catholics don't say you can't drink. The Catholics don't say you can't gamble. The Catholics don't say, as a matter of fact, that's all the things we have at a fish fry.
Right.
That's how we attract people.
That's promotion.
Gambling, smoking, right. We're like Mattress Mac of religions. Come to the fish fry. There will be gambling. There will be bingo. There will be tons of booze. But like at Liberty University, they're not allowed to drink. They're not allowed to dance. They're not allowed to smoke. All this bullshit that Jerry Falwell Jr. is out there fucking preaching every day, and then he's doing all of it.
Right.
And then they got mean and they threatened him. You got to go watch the show on Hulu. Also, highly recommend Netflix, the Leonard Skinner documentary.
I haven't seen that.
It's just phenomenal. I was texting Ron because Ron loves Leonard Skinner. And I'm like, dude, you got to go watch this thing. Those guys, I mean, their story is so back-ass woods. And you know what? This is how naive I am. I think because of the song Sweet Home Alabama, I always thought they were from Alabama. Niet. Jacksonville, Florida.
What?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I thought they were Alabama. I thought like Mobile or something.
Nope. Also started Yellowstone. You know, I don't know what. I love it, okay, but
I do too.
it's just not bad. It's just a soap opera. I mean,
It's salacious.
It's ridiculous, too. Like, how many people have they murdered? I mean, eventually they're just going to have to kill one another. There's going to be nobody left. And they don't want progress. And some of the speeches are right, because I do know some rich California people that have gone to Montana, and there's an area there, and I can't think of the name of it. Because a friend of mine went to go see a mutual friend of ours at this area. And yeah, there's a lot of California people moving in.
It's outside of Bozeman.
Outside of Bozeman. Montana, where have I been? I've been to Billings.
Yep. It's not there.
No. Billings is a city.
Right.
That's fine. I didn't see the Montana they're all talking about. But I came up, Helena's the capital. I came up through Wyoming. Me and my friend Stephanie McHugh, the other comedian. But Yellowstone's everything you want it to be.
I love it.
I do. And you know what? If you really want a cheesy, delicious pleasure, watch Monarch.
Oh, great. That's great. Yeah.
Here's what's crazy. I know for the record that Susan Sarandon is batshit crazy. Okay, message received. So don't tweet me that. Don't tag me. She's a terrible person. And I don't even care. I like her acting, but she's only like in one episode, and there's no spoiler alert here because you're gonna find out episode 1.
Right.
Then she's dead, and she ain't in anything else except in flashbacks. It's like a country music soap opera, and then my fan. Trace Atkins, because one time somebody called and I was doing a gig in Nashville, and they're like, he would like to say hi to you. He really likes you on Sirius Radio. And I'm so bad with country music. I'm like, is that the one who sings about a boot in my ass or something? And they're like, what? What are you talking about, Kathleen? I go, some song about a boot in your ass? And they're like, no, that's Toby Keith. I go, oh, okay. Well, then they're like, Trace. And then they showed me his picture. I'm like, oh, right, that guy. Okay. Honga donk. What is it? Badonka donk. Yeah, and he's like 6 foot, 1,000 feet tall, and he was so sweet. He came backstage, and I'm like, I was like, I guess let's get our picture taken. It's super weird. I'm 5 foot nothing. You are 11 foot tall, and his voice is real deep. But anyway, he plays Susan Sarandon's husband, but Susan Sarandon dies. I also don't know how they're affording the music they're paying for in this show. I mean, they're using every song you've ever heard that are giant hits of everything. I don't know.
He plays Albie.
He plays
Albie Roman.
Albert Roman. We're Romans. It's fun to watch, even though it's cheesy. That's my review. It's a guilty pleasure it's like a giant country music video, really. And I don't even know enough about country music to be judging any of this at all. I've tried to learn country, but it's a slow process. Monarch, and then The Crown.
Yeah. Crown's great, too.
Yeah. I do not have the empathy for Princess Diana that everyone else does. I don't.
Careful.
I don't need to be careful on this. Here's the thing. She grew up super rich. She grew up super rich in a castle with rich parents. She swam with Charles, like, when they were kids. Like, she wasn't, they always make it out to be like, she was this kindergarten teacher somewhere in a shitty neighborhood in South London, and he met her, and she got plucked out of obscurity and poverty. It's all bullshit. Yeah. So when she married him, here's the deal. I don't like Charles either. I understand that you don't like Charles. Right. He seems like a whole shit ton of no fun. Yeah. I don't. No. I even think the Queen would be more fun because she likes dogs and horses. So I have something in common with the Queen. And she liked her drinks. So if I said, hey, let's bust those corgis out, and then 5 corgis come running at you, and I have a martini, everything's fine. Everything's fine. She likes her gin and tonic. I don't like gin, but I would drink it if the Queen said, that's what we're doing today. We're drinking gin and tonics, playing with corgis, and then we're going to go see my horses out in the barn. I could get on track with all that. Charles, no. But my thing is, Diana, you knew what the gig was. Right. Then you get the gig, and now you're miserable. And you're going to pout and whine. There's a scene where Philip comes in, and he basically tells her, look, my word is they're Disney characters, right. Okay? You are now a Disney princess. and just play the role, and you can do whatever you want. But he was like, I thought you knew that.
Right.
I would think you did not come from the middle class or the lower class. You were upper class. You know what this involves.
Right.
So why do it? Why say yes?
Because she wanted to be the queen.
She would never be the queen. He's going to be the king. She'd be the queen mum, darling.
Well, whatever.
No, darling, you're the queen mum, like the queen mum of the queen mum.
Right.
She can't ever be queen.
Well, queen light.
Queen light. Okay, Canada. That's it. You should know better. You are from a system which still has these people as part of your money and everything else.
Nope.
I love The Crown, and I love who's ever playing Princess Di, that lady. She's doing a great job. And the lady who's playing the Queen, the guy who's playing Prince Charles is way better looking than Charles. I got to shout out to that man. Dude, you are way better. Like, if they picked me to beat Prince Charles, I'd be like, fuck, I thought I was cuter than that.
Imelda Staunton is the queen.
Imelda Staunton. What else has she been in? She looks very familiar.
I don't know, but I'll look.
All right.
Elizabeth Debicki is Diana.
Elizabeth Debicki?
Yep.
I thought it was like that American lady.
No.
No?
Elizabeth Debicki.
Well, she's doing a wonderful job. All the acting is great. The little boy who plays Prince William, great. I love the show. I just don't understand the sad sack of Diana. What is the matter with you? Of course I don't know. You know the gig, you take the gig. And then you're like, oh, this sucks. Well, of course it sucks, but you have to make your own good out of it.
Oh, Imelda's very famous.
The Queen lady?
Yeah, she's 66.
She's 66 years old. Yeah, she's been in all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
I do recognize her.
Yep.
All right. Well, highly recommend it, but you have to like The Crown. Like, my dad wouldn't make it through one episode. No, he'd kill my mom. I'll have to go. I'm going to watch it on Thanksgiving with my mom. I'll save my episodes for her. Because he won't watch it.
No.
He'll say no.
Wow. This is great.
All right, we're moving on to news.
Okay.
Long distance. I did say long. I didn't say long.
I wondered.
Chain smoking grandpa runs marathon in 3.5 hours.
Yes!
This is a Chinese grandpa redefines smoking the competition after running an entire marathon in just 3.5 hours while puffing away on cigs. Images show the chain smoking athlete lighting up Weibo. That's the Chinese social media platform. Weibo. Never heard of it. Weibo.
Let's see if we can get on it.
As fans praise the respiratory fortitude, the 50-year-old runner known as Mr. Uncle Chen accomplished the breathtaking feat at the Xinjiang Marathon in Jindai, running an entire 26.2 miles while either smoking or lighting up a cig.
Love it. Wonderful.
Smoking might seem like at odds with long-distance running. However, the tobacco-loving grandpa reportedly managed to complete the event in an impressive 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 45 seconds, a, quote, good marathon time. As a result, he placed 574th out of 1,500 runners. That's pretty good. Middle of the pack, and you're chain smoking and they're not. They got pictures of him just lighting up cigs the whole way.
That's great.
Social media fans were impressed that he managed to finish the race while smoking and without running out of cigarettes. But he's got a guy next to him who's got his cigs. That guy hands him cigs and he lights them while he's running.
The guy's running the marathon?
The man who's running the marathon, there's a man running with him.
With cigarettes?
Yeah, and he hands him cigs. So
Fantastic.
and then he lights them.
Wow.
The old man lights them. However, the others accused him of harming other competitors with secondhand smoke. Well, you know what? That's your fault because you should blow past that man. If you're behind a chain-smoking 50-year-old,
Yep.
that's on you.
Right.
If you should be able to beat him. This isn't his first rodeo. 2018, the Siggy-loving marathon man finished the Guangzhou Marathon in 3 hours and 36 minutes.
Wow.
He also completed the 2019 Ximen Marathon in 3 hours and 32 minutes, proving that not only that his smoking is not hindering his performance, but it actually may be improving it.
Wonderful. Yes.
I am not saying smoke. If there's any children, the children, do not interpret that as a pro-smoking ad. Just a funny story.
Auntie Cat says no.
Here's something gross. You want gross?
Yeah.
Gross.
Here's something gross. It's a new.
This is probably one of the grossest things. Ugh. like somebody paid $218,750, basically with taxes and shit at the auction house, to be $220,000 for Steve Jobs used Birkenstocks.
Oh, gross.
Gross, because I have Birkenstocks, and I like my Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
Mine have a bit of a heel built in. They're like a high rise. They're hard to explain, but even I think my Birkenstocks are gross. Because your feet kind of meld into them and create your own pattern. You can see your own toe prints in there. It's almost like clay.
Yeah.
It's not like saying, here's what do the boys that my nephews have? Those slides. Like, here's a Adidas slides.
Right.
There's nothing imprinted in there. It's just, okay, I could steal their slides and just wear them and be fine. So they were worn by Jobs in the 70s and 80s and saved from the trash by Mark Scheff, Sheff, a chef who managed one of the technologist properties in Albany, California in the 80s.
Gross.
Who would, what do you want? It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
He wore these sandals during many pivotal moments in Apple's history.
How do you know that?
I don't know.
Right. The chef.
In 1976, the chef made all that up. In 1976, he hatched the beginning of Apple Computer in Los Altos garage with Apple's co-founder Steve Wozniak, while occasionally wearing these sandals. I mean, they look beat to shit, too. This is like stuff that on auction where you're like...
He only has one pair of Birkenstocks.
I only have one pair of Birkenstocks. I mean, I'm not Steve Jobs. I'm not comparing myself to Steve Jobs, but...
You also don't have 9 homes.
I do not have 9 homes. No, I do not. So... I don't know. Once you get a good pair of Birkenstocks broken in, though, they're hard to break in. They hurt for a while. I don't know.
Okay.
Here's something not gross and totally cool. Okay? But you're going to have to go online and watch the video.
Moving on.
I can't do it any justice unless you go and do it.
Okay.
So we have talked about before Banff, Banff,
Yes.
for the Americans that don't know, a national park in Canada, Western Canada, in British Columbia, outside of Calgary.
It's in Alberta.
In Alberta. One of the most, I said British Columbia. One of the prettiest places I've ever been in my life, Banff. And we've talked about him on this show before. There's a grizzly bear up there known as the Boss. Uh-huh. And he's the biggest and the most badass grizzly bear in the national park. I bought Lewis Black, my little comedian friend, a T-shirt that says the Boss. Cool. It just says the Boss in little letters, and then it's a picture of the grizzly bear, but it's a very artistically cool, not like a cheesy tourist thing. Because I went to a special store. Oh. Yeah. I sure did. Because they said they had special Boss T-shirts, and I'm like, well, I want to see those T-shirts, right? Because this grizzly bear. So a photographer found him and took videos of him just now. Yeah, like last week.
Oh,
yeah. Because he's hard.
It's hard to catch.
Nobody wants to catch him. They're not going to catch him. But
Catch on film.
yeah, to capture, yeah. A photographer recalls his encounter with the legendary grizzly bear, simply known as the Boss in Banff National Park. Jason Leo Bantle tells Petapixel about his exhilarating encounter with the Boss earlier this month, who eats other bears and has survived being hit by a train. He's been hit by a train more than once. He goes on the train tracks looking for food that's fallen, anything that might have fallen off the train. Right. That's why he likes, but then he gets hit. Right. He is legendary here, given his history of eating a black bear 1 year before he went into hibernation. He dug it out of its den.
Wow.
Can you imagine you just go to hibernate? You're like, I'm done with summer. I'm going to go hit the hay.
All of a sudden you're yanked.
All of a sudden somebody's pulling you by your hair out of your den, and it's another bear. It's like another person. Like, what are you doing, you crazy thing? He's been hit by the train that travels through the national park and survived. He's most likely the father of 70% of the cubs in the Bow Valley area.
Well done.
That's where, in the Bow Valley, where I saw the moose. If you follow me on Instagram, that moose video I had. The Boss is believed to be in his mid-20s, and he's achieved longevity in an area with a lot of human density. Grizzly bears are known to be sensitive to human presence, and they tend to die in densely human areas. He, the Boss, is probably the largest bear, he's the biggest. Estimated weight of 600 pounds.
It's massive.
His nose looks like a shoe. I mean, it's so...
It's a bucket.
Yeah. The enormous bear can be recognized by his right ear, which is missing a portion of the top and distinguishes his from all the other grizzlies in the area. He spends a large amount of time on the train tracks, foraging for grain spilled from the rail cars or foraging off other animals that may have been struck and killed by trains. Wow. Yeah, he's looking for carcasses. When it comes to bears, safety is key. This guy's saying, don't do what I did. He had a long telephoto lens and images captured over 100 meters away. You don't want to take chances. Stay far away. That's it. So you should go see the video, though. It's super awesome. And you know what? Some years, the boss is not caught on camera.
Nope.
So this is a lucky year.
He's a legend.
He is a legend. Mm-hmm. Here's another thing. Are you in Ohio? Ohio termites? Do you know there's thousands of minks running around Ohio right now? Yes!
That's a weird transition.
Well, we're in animals. We are in animals right now. Thousands of minks. They're not called, no, they're just mink. Thousands of mink fled their cages when vandals broke into an Ohio mink farm. This is crazy. Thousands of mink were released from their cages at a northwestern Ohio farm in an overnight breaking. I was just in Ohio. I could have been looking for these things. I didn't know.
Why not?
Well, it hadn't happened yet. In an overnight breaking and entering episode, between 25,000 and 40,000 mink were let loose after a suspect or suspects broke into the Lion Farms USA mink farm in, I can't say this, Hoagland Township, Ohio, and destroyed fencing, sending the animals out of their cages sometime overnight Monday into Tuesday. In an update, the sheriff said that many of the mink stayed on the farm and some were corralled by employees. Okay. Corralling minks. First of all, they look to be the size of a ferret. I don't really know how big they get, but so it's estimated that there are 10,000 on the loose. Out of the 25 to 40, a bunch stayed on the farm. Yeah, they're probably scared shitless. They don't know what to do. No. They're domesticated. They don't. It's kind of mean. You know, I'm sure these are animal rights people that say this is terrible. Okay, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Not going to get in that argument. But you shouldn't just let them loose if they don't know how to live in the wild. They're just going to get killed. Yeah. Mink are carnivorous mammals that primarily eat fresh kills, the sheriff's office warned. As a result, they can
carnivores?
Yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm. That's a horror movie waiting.
Little tiny rats. Little tiny super soft rats. Gross. Super soft. As a result, they can be a bothersome pest for homeowners, livestock owners, and property managers. Mink have proven to be especially costly and problematic for poultry ranchers as well as homeowners with ornamental ponds filled with koi and other fish. Wow. These mink are considered domesticated animals, livestock. Domesticated mink generally will not survive in the wild because they lack natural survival skills. Yeah.
Wow.
There's 10,000.
That's a lot of mink.
But I don't know. Do they bite? Like, I don't.
Well, they do if they're carnivores.
Yeah, but would they bite me if I picked one up to try to save it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, then you got to get a cat cage and trap them.
What did you just say?
Like how I trapped the cats when they were wild to go get them fixed.
Are we admitting they're not wild anymore?
They're wild. Kind of. Kind of wild.
Come on.
Let's talk about Hush Puppy. This is really an update. These transitions are crazy.
Okay.
A man who flaunted private jets and luxury cars on Instagram gets 11 years in prison for money laundering. Now, we have talked about Hush Puppy before on this show. It was a long time ago. He's a Nigerian Instagram, like a superstar, at least in his own mind. And you could tell he was doing bad things. I just didn't know what. And they finally caught him. A Nigerian social media influencer who flaunted a lavish lifestyle of private jets and luxury cars has been sentenced to 11 years in prison over charges related to a multi-million-dollar scam that targeted companies in the United States and overseas. Ramon Abbas, known to millions of his Instagram followers as Hush Puppy.
Way cooler.
Hush Puppy's great.
Hush Puppy.
Yeah. Shh. Because you know who I am. I'm Hush Puppy.
Wow.
You have to say it like that, though. What's your name? Hush. No, this is not even enough wine to do anything. He pleaded guilty in April last year to conspiracy to engage in money laundering. In addition to the prison sentence handed down, he was ordered to pay $1.7 million in restitution to 2 fraud victims in a spectacular downfall for Hush Puppy, age 40, whose June 2020 arrest at his gilded perch in Dubai made headlines worldwide. Before sentencing, he was held in federal detention in Los Angeles, his once flamboyant social media account gone quiet, despite gaining $500,000 since his arrest, 500,000 followers since his arrest.
Wow.
His targets included a U.S. law firm, a foreign bank, and an unnamed British professional soccer club, among others, according to federal sentencing memorandum from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Central District of California. Money laundering and business email compromise scams. So remember, there was a while there. There were all those Nigerian scams coming through on email.
Yeah.
Like, hi, I'm in Nigeria, and if you could just send me this money. No, but it was like, there's money waiting for you, and I found it, but you got to send me this. Yeah. And yeah, a lot of Nigerian-based stuff. I don't know if that was all Hush Puppy. I can't be blaming all that just on him. Maybe there is shared guilt. He was a co-conspirator, fraudulently induced a New York law firm to wire him nearly $923,000 meant for a client's real estate refinancing to a bank that they controlled. A paralegal at the firm received the fraudulent wire instructions after sending an email to what appeared to be a legitimate bank email address, was later identified as a spoofed address. So he was just emailing people as a bank.
No. Guess who would fall for this?
The children.
Your mom and dad.
My mom and dad, yeah. Don't even get me started. One time I was somewhere in Atlantic City on a boat with a friend, and my mom called. Hello? They always sound like they're falling down a well. I'm like, what's up, Mom? We've been hacked! What? We've been hacked! I go, what? I'm on a boat having margaritas. I'm not the person you should call anyway. I have other siblings that are techies. Do that. Call them. Well, that email, there was an email, and we called a number, and he's in our, it's a Chinese person, and we talked to him, and he's in our stuff looking at us.
What does that mean?
What? What? He could see us. She kept saying that. I'm like, who? Who could? The Chinese man. Like, oh my God. We need to change everything right now. Oh my God. And I could see where it would, some of the stuff I get does look pretty real from Apple. And it's not.
Right.
But I get, my mom and dad actually did the thing they want you to do, though. They actually called the number. Like, they didn't even email back. My parents were like, hello? They just immediately, beep, beep, bong, bong, bing, bong, bong. Hi.
Here's our money.
It's Vicky Madigan.
Oh, my God.
What time would you like to come over and steal all our stuff? Okay, well, we go to bed at 9. So, Hush Puppy.
We're leaving town for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. The dog will be at daycare. If you need Maggie, if you want to steal Maggie, she's worth $1,200. Okay. There's a new person with the highest IQ in the world. And it is not me.
Not Hush Puppy.
And it is not you, and it is not Hush Puppy.
Nope.
His name is Yusuf Shea.
Huh.
Yep, he's a youngster. He has a 160 IQ. I never took an IQ test. Did you?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
In school?
Yeah, how are you going to go to college?
What?
Yeah, that's how you get seated.
SIUE didn't ask for that. University of Missouri didn't ask for that.
Wow.
What?
You've never taken an IQ test?
I don't think so. Maybe I was so bad my parents didn't tell me, but I don't know. I took the Iowa Basics test like a good middle American child.
Oh, my God.
And then I was always scared to go to Iowa because I'm like, God damn, they're so smart. They make the test up. Like us, there's no Missouri Basic. It's the Iowa Basic test. You take it like in 5th or 6th grade, and it's horrifying when you're that age, unless you're like a super nerd and you're into that. If you're not, bad Thursday. No, I have no idea what my IQ is. I would be terrified to find out because I can't do math or science, so that's half the shit on the test, I would assume.
I don't remember. It's been a long time.
What was your IQ?
I don't remember.
Well, maybe let's go online and take one.
We'll do it together.
All right. Yeah. Parents of youth Chef Shay said, we did what we were already doing. Nothing specific for the IQ test. Their son, an 11-year-old 6th grader, has just scored 162 on the Mensa IQ test. Now, Yusef IQ has surpassed the IQ of Einstein and Stephen Hawking.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Einstein was estimated to be around 160. Despite those estimates, it's not certain whether Einstein's IQ was ever truly tested, although it may seem outlandish to estimate IQs of past intellectual giants. Catherine Cox published estimates of IQs of 301 historical figures, including Charles Dickens. Stephen Hawking's IQ presents a similar mystery. He never revealed his IQ, but his IQ has also been estimated at 160. Although initially predicted to live only 2 years following his diagnosis, Hawking went on to live 55 more years. Now, with Yusef Shay's recent score achieved on the IQ test, questions are likely to arise regarding the accuracy of the estimated IQs assigned to Albert Einstein and Hawking. Whatever. I mean, give the kid the honor. Just let him have it.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, Shaw says it feels special to have a certificate. When he's not studying, he's cute. There's a little picture of him with a Rubik's Cube. He enjoys his free time solving puzzles and Rubik's Cubes. His recent achievement has made his family very proud. His mother, Sana, states that Yusef was the first person in the family to take the Mensa IQ test. Although she was concerned about him being intimidated by the adults, she was ecstatic that he did brilliantly.
That's great.
Yeah, good for him.
That's really great.
Here's what's crazy, though. What if you're this kid and you decide you want to be like a stand-up comedian? I mean, you can't.
You're not going to be.
Well, you don't know. There have been some super smart comedians. And then there's the rest of us. But, like, to have an IQ that you should do something more substantial, right? Like, go cure cancer or something. Okay. Like, something for reals. Like, just leave the comedy up to us who went to, state schools.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to round this out with a feel-good story. So, when you guys hear this, it won't be Thanksgiving yet, but I hope you guys have a good Thanksgiving. Oh, my blanket fell down. My dad, the dead blanket. I hope you guys have fun. I'll be in the Ozarks. I'll be in the Ozarkians.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's it? That's all you're going to say? What are you going to do?
I'm going to go out to the farm.
Nice.
I'm going to go hiking in the woods down to the creek.
Yep.
Mainly go help my dad with whatever he wants done out there. I don't know. Things. He wants things. And then my mom's like, take him. I'm like, no problem.
You hanging out with nieces and nephews?
The nieces and nephews, yeah, I'm going to hang out with all them. But they're all very busy with their practices. And it's volleyball now and basketball and football. They have schedules.
Right.
Yeah.
Doesn't include you.
No, I don't want to go to their practice. I'm only here for the big money games. Win or lose, okay? Aunt Cat ain't coming to your practice. No. That's not happening. I'll drive you and drop you off, but I ain't. No. This is super. Wait till you see the picture. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. This is our feel-good story.
All right.
The New York Zoo, I'm not sure. I will tell you which one in a minute, but it's not in the headline, announces historic birth of twin Asian elephant babies.
Oh, my God.
Twins!
Nice.
Twins account for less than 1% of elephant births worldwide. And prior to last month's delivery, no U.S. zoo had ever welcomed surviving elephant twins.
That's so great.
That's a good thing, right? The world full of shitty news, sometimes there's good stuff. Oh, the Syracuse, New York facility. Well, next time I go to Oswego and see my friends Mary and Tommy, I'm going to go see these twins.
Cool.
Announced Thursday that its Asian elephant Molly gave birth to twins. Molly, like M-A-L-I. It's especially notable because none have ever survived. Truly historical moment for our zoo and our community. I couldn't be proud of our exceptional animal care team, the support of the veterinary staff, and the tremendous dedication to Molly and the twins. The important research happening here at the zoo will help have a significant impact worldwide on behalf of this magnificent endangered species.
That's really cool.
Yeah. They're perfectly healthy. Oh, my God. They're 220 pounds when they're born.
Wow.
That's Ron White.
Yeah.
They had 2 Ron Whites. Wow.
Wow, that's a lot of weight.
This poor elephant, the mom, was walking around with 440 pounds of baby.
That's a lot of
Yeah. Oh, the second one weighed 237. That's Ron when he's had a lot of Mexican food.
He's had a lot of tacos.
But he was not as strong as his brother, but he made it.
Wow.
Yep.
That's great.
The zoo will closely monitor his babies for EEHV, a lethal strain of herpes believed to occur among elephants in a dormant form.
Did you just say herpes?
I just said herpes.
Elephant herpes.
Whoa, how about feline AIDS? I had to pay for that shot. I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
What?
Feline AIDS.
You want to get him vaccinated for feline AIDS? I said, I don't want to answer any more of his questions. I just give them the platinum package. They'll take everything.
Here's my
And
credit card.
this is my Delta American Express. Please charge everything there so I get miles and can fly away from here. The zoo said the virus can become active without warning, and it's the leading cause of death among young elephants.
Herpes.
Yeah.
Elephant herpes.
Mm-hmm.
Learn something every day.
Their names are Batu and Ajay.
AJ?
A-J-A-Y. Ajay. Ajoy?
AJ.
AJ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I like how you made it, AJ.
Ajay. I made him
You
foreign.
made it fancy.
Well, he's not from America. You know that. He's from
Asia.
He's from Asia. Where else do they have elephants? Africa,
They're Asian elephants.
India. Who else has them? I don't really know.
What are you excited to eat for Thanksgiving?
The most exciting thing I'm excited to eat is my mom's dressing. But like I said, I think I said this on the podcast, since they've gotten older and now it's just the 2 of them in their own house, she doesn't understand proportions anymore. No. She'll like bring over 2 tiny cups of Tupperware dressing. Well, here, I made it. Right. Mom, there's 38 people here. What the hell is the matter with you? Mashed potatoes, if nobody fucks those up.
What are your thoughts?
Well, my favorite is to see my dad look at strange things and ask what they are. That's my favorite part. Anybody that brings anything remotely healthy into the house will be immediately reprimanded for being weird and California. Yeah, he'll blame a lot on California. Specifically, yeah. What is this, some sort of California thing? I don't know, Dad. It's just salad. Salad.
With ranch.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on pumpkin pie?
I don't like pumpkin pie.
Really?
No, I don't care for it. I don't know. I don't like pumpkin. I'm sick of people shoving it in my beer. I'm sick of people shoving pumpkin everywhere. I'm not a pumpkin person. I'd rather have my mom's chocolate pie. If we're having pie, I just think pie's stupid. But I don't have a sweet tooth either, so I don't really care.
Pie is stupid. How old are you?
Fruit pies, bleh.
Pie is stupid.
Cake makes sense.
Okay.
Pie, to me, you just took a bunch of fruit and dumped it in a crust and then baked it. That doesn't really count as cooking.
I'm glad you think that.
Baking. I don't know. I prefer cake. I don't know. My brother will try and fry a turkey in that, what is it, that silver oil?
It's called a fryer.
A fryer. I would say his fried turkey, I always find it's exhilarating because I always think there's a really good chance we could blow up out in the driveway. Because, like, he's always very hesitant. Like, he's like, yeah, this is going to work. And then it gets weird. It's like playing with fireworks.
Remember when he forgot the peanut oil and tried to use other oil?
Oh, he forgot the peanut oil. And then the only thing that was open was Walgreens. And I went and bought all of their oil. The lady at the front desk looked at me like, what's up, methy? I think she thought I was cooking meth or something. I'm like, this is not all for me. His fried turkey gets better every year. Yep. I'm not saying it's as good as a real, like a turkey cooked in the oven. Mm-hmm. He's getting better at it, though. Good. I do get it. Mm-hmm. And it's fast. It's good. Yeah, because my mom would bitch all the time how long it all took. And it is faster. It's fine. Right. The first year, no. Got it. If you overcook it, mm-hmm. and it's very easy to do, yep. It gets so dried out. It's just like jerky out of a fryer, which is turkey jerky's fine, but that's not what you're expecting on Thanksgiving.
No. A lot of gravy.
Not enough gravy for that. Nope, there wasn't even enough the first year. So,
Way to the rosary.
all right, and then I'm going to go through the stuff. I got a lot of stuff backstage in Minnesota. I just haven't had time to deal with all that, but I will because there were so many nice things sent. And even the guy at the casino goes, "You have officially received the most items ever backstage."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Do all these people know you like beer?" I'm like, yes. And then somebody got turned down at security and told me on Twitter, and I called down to the casino, and I'm like, "You tell those people they accept all gifts. All gifts. We accept everything."
If it's a liquid, bring it.
Nah, they were trying to be sweet. And they're like, "Well, we'd like to go through it." You can go through it. Yeah. You're just going to find beer can after beer can, ranch bottle, Lay's potato chips. Yeah.
Where are you going after that?
I'm going to El Cajon at Riverside, California, and Spokane, a casino called Northern Quest.
Yep.
That's first. Then El Cajon. I'm so glad to go where it's warm. After Minnesota, and there was snow everywhere in Minnesota. Like, I like winter. Somewhat.
Crazy. The bald eagles looked amazing.
Well, the bald eagles were amazing because I was sitting in the room, my little casino room, and I'm like, "Holy shit, that's a bald eagle." And then I watched it. It didn't move forever, for like over an hour. I took videos, and then, boom, a second one lands.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's when I'm like, all right, I'm going to go out and make a video, see if I can get them. And then at the end of the video, it flew away like Mutual of Omaha. Yeah, it's like I directed the film. Yeah, I Googled it because they're so huge. I'm like, that thing's really far away and it looks humongous. Their wingspan is 6 to 7.5 feet.
That's crazy.
That's Ron White laying down. That's crazy. That's its wingspan.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, termites.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. And
Drive carefully.
the Grand Termite put a message for you guys out online on my socials if you want to see the Grand Termite.
Yeah, we'll put it in the notes.
My sister goes, "He needs a haircut." I said, "No, his joke on stage is he fell asleep during COVID and he woke up and he looked like Moses." Or one of any of the surviving members of the Allman Brothers.
True. Both are true.
He could pass for either one. He'd be a great Moses. We've never had a Southern Moses. We need to do a show where there's a Southern Moses is from Texas.
It's a great idea.
Make the whole Bible Southern. How fun would that be?
Oh my God.
Come on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
It's called Monarch.
Monarch. I'm telling you, go watch it for fun. There's so many things that don't make sense in it, and I love it.
Yeah.
And Trace is good as what he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Old Southern guy, don't say much. He just says what he needs to be said. They drink a lot of whiskey and bang glasses down, and then the children are fighting, and it's not going to teach anything, and it's not going to make you a smarter person or a better person, but it's fun.
It's great.
All right.